Hello, my lovely peaches. How are you? Welcome and welcome back. My name is Kat, and I love living peach and dreaming peach. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. Please click subscribe. That would be so super helpful. I am a super tiny channel, and I'm trying to grow a little tiny bit, and I would really appreciate if you would click subscribe. If you like what you see, that would be super cool. Thank you so much. So today is Wednesday, May 29th, 2024, and my unpopular opinion about the Karen Read trial, which is on break until Monday, June 3rd, I believe, is that more and more I'm leaning towards she did hit him with her car, and yikes. So let me see. So while it's true that the Alberts and the McCabe's and the Brian Higgins were texting each other and butt dialing each other and deleted butt dials and butt dials that were never answered and stuff like that. And some people might think that that's suspicious or weird. And some people do think it's suspicious and weird. And somebody commented on my TikTok video, there were 3 separate texts of the Google search. And so I thought, wow, is that true? Because that would be something if there were 3 separate different wordings. And then that would lead a lot more towards the defense's theory that, in fact, it wasn't just the browser that snapped the time when she opened the browser at 6:23 and the last time that she had been searching for basketball, something for her daughter, at 2:27. And so the Celebrite data, what it shows, see, I watched the trial and I've been watching like literally everything. And then I watch like 3 or 4 different lawyers go over the same testimony. And then I make videos about it myself. So I listen to it again. And that doesn't mean that I listen to every single word and that I've memorized every single piece of evidence and that I know it like backward, forward, in and out, and all that stuff. But I feel like I'm pretty well versed in this case as far as what is it presented as actual evidence in court. Admissible evidence. Not stories on the internet, not stuff that Turtle Boy put up. I'm not reading articles. I did read one article that somebody commented on my video and said, read this article on Boston Magazine. And I did read, well, I didn't read it. I actually copied and pasted it into TTS Reader and I listened to it. And it was very touching and it sounded like genuine call for justice for John O'Keefe from a cousin who believes that Karen Read is the one who killed him. And, you know, I was extremely intrigued by this convoluted frame theory. It's not just the fact that there's a theory that these people framed Karen, but that they framed her for the murder that they committed. The defense is flashy. Well, I should say Alan Jackson. He's flashy. He's aggressive. He comes at every witness as if they are the defendant. And so what I was saying about Jen McCabe's call, not her calls, her Google searches. Her Google searches. So there was supposedly Celebrite data that said at 2:27, she Googled, how's long to die in cold? The person who commented on my TikTok said there were 3 different text searches entered, but that is not true. At 2:27, it said, how's long to die in cold? And then at the bottom, it said deleted. And they never clarified, was it deleted because Celebrite realized that this was just a snapshot of the browser and that's why it was deleted? Because Jen said, I wouldn't know how to go and delete that. And like if you delete a search off your phone, that's not going to delete it off your phone records, I don't believe. I don't know. She said she didn't know. And I was like, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if you went in. If I went into my phone and I deleted off my phone, would that delete it off if they extracted my phone data? I genuinely don't know. But so the thing is, how would she have the same exact typo at 2:27 and then at 6:23 and then at 6:24 it's how long T die in cold, and it's spelled a little different. So when I watched the trial and I saw the evidence, which I was extremely curious and like ears alerted for, eyes and ears all open, because that was one of the most salacious pieces of so-called evidence that the defense was going to show, that Jen McCabe was searching how's long to die in cold at 2:27. But then somehow, miraculously, well, no, okay, so it wasn't Karen who was upset and yelling and saying, Google search how long to die in the cold. It was Jen who was doing it and then lying that it was Karen. Like, all of this is so convoluted. That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody wrote a comment about that. At first they thought, how could 30 people collude together to cover up a murder? But now they think that it's true. And I'm like, how? How? You know, and I won't say her name because a lot of the lawyers I watch have, you know, said a lot of great stuff about this particular lawyer. But yesterday I heard her talking and she's like, Brian Higgins had all the reason. He was so jealous. And I'm like, you know, they say texts, you can't always tell what the tone is in a text, and that is true. But it's just bizarre to me that some people are reading in these text messages that they're extracting out of it that Brian Higgins was pursuing Karen and that he was angry and he was enraged and he was jealous and he was so enraged, he was enraged into a murderous beat down. But that's the thing, like, okay, so just because you showed me that the man threw his phone away, that does not prove a murder. And just because you showed me that there were some texts that might have happened and that Jen wanted somebody to send her a text and that they might have deleted a couple of phone calls where they probably were saying, oh my fucking God, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck did Karen Read do to our friend John, who we honor, love, and respect because of he's such an amazing man. Not a single person had a bad thing to say about John, except for Karen Read in her texts to Brian Higgins, who she sought out. She went and got his number without him knowing, without his knowledge, without his consent. And when she reached out to him, he was like, how'd you get my digits? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. What's up? I thought you had a boyfriend. I thought you were in this happy situation. This is so out of left field. This is so out of the blue. Are you messing with me? Why won't you answer my questions? And then when she's talking about, you know, I'm single, John's single, and he's like, does John know that? Is John okay with that? Like, this man was asking all the right things. And even though, yeah, he was like, you're hot, you know, and I like you. I mean, to me, he sounded like a man who was like intrigued and interested, but at the same time, very cautious and very suspicious. And then from what he said, she came over And it was more weird stuff. I mean, he was literally saying things to her in the text messages that would, if anybody was actually paying attention and not just being a cynical female or just like looking at things from, I don't know, like there's a certain way that people can look at things and it's just like, you just want to look at things as a victim, or you just want to look at it like your ego is hurt and you're putting yourself on a pedestal and you're putting this other person down, when the reality is that Brian Higgins was like, what's up, dude? When she was putting the people down at the hillside, he's like, you know how to ruin a good thing. When she said everybody at the hillside is happy, he's like, oh, wow, you avoid things. I mean, he was calling her out on her shit. When she said, you said you were adaptable, he's like, do you always get angry when you don't get what you want? Like, if you were to read his responses and you were to see who started it, who was trying, she was the one saying, come to my house. He's like, I thought you were happy. She's like, come over. You know, and then, and he's like, if you had given me some notice, I mean, yeah, he said something about kicking his balls in or something, but, you know, it's like, I mean, yeah, and he was like, did he bang her? And it's like, that's kind of crass, but again, it's not like he was like, hey, come over, let me bang you. It's like, just because somebody says a word does not automatically mean, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just so irritated at people. I'm really, really irritated at seeing how people, I just feel like they are trying so hard to spin this salacious, ridiculous, insane. It's like the fact that this woman was cheating, she was desperately trying to cheat on her man because her ego was bruised because she saw John hug someone that she called gross, even though the girl looked beautiful to me. And she was screaming, who the fuck is that? Fuck you, go fuck yourself. Literally on a vacation. Then, I don't know, the whole thing is so weird. I'm not going to go over every detail again. I will also say that it irritates me so bad. I saw comments about people like, oh my God, I can't believe that Jen McCabe. So they're like, Jen McCabe and Kerry Roberts have been poisoning the kids and coaching them what to say. It's like, why, dude? What do they have to gain? Why would they have killed him? Why would Karen have hit him that night? Well, she had been actively pursuing a man who was actively wondering, why are you pursuing me when you have a boyfriend who just also happens to be my friend? What is your end game here? What's going on? Yeah, you're hot, and I think you're hot. But at the same time, this is not it. Okay? And I believe that what Karen was terrified of was John walking into that party and not Brian beating the fuck out of him out of jealous rage, but instead being like, hey, buddy, what's up? What the fuck is up with your girl? Showing him the cell phone, saying, your girl's been sending me all these weird texts, and I'm sorry because I think she's hot, and I don't want to step on your toes, dude, but what's going on? She's real weird. She's real weird. And I think that if John had gone into that party, Karen's relationship would have been over, and maybe it already was over. I don't know, but I do think that what the niece and the nephew had to testify to was very relevant, unlike all of these people out here who try to, when people say protect the children, don't let them testify, I feel like you literally don't know what it means to protect somebody. Because protecting somebody means let them say what they need to say. Let them have a voice. Validate their experience and their perspective and the words that they have to share. And to say that someone is forcing, like I did read somebody was tweeting that a little bit about it, and that the defense attorney Yannetti said, I'm sorry that you were dragged down here and made to do this. And I would have been like, fuck you, motherfucker. I wanted to be here. I had things to say. Again, that was like me being 12 years old and 7 years old and 5 years old and having to be in a court situation and having to talk and actually say stuff. Is it scary? Yeah. Is it painful? Yeah. But the reason that you're in this scary, painful situation isn't because of the court. The court is there as a mediator and as a source of, hopefully, justice, so that there will be people who will not allow the bad people to hurt you anymore. Or if it's all good and you want somebody to, no, I love this person. This person is safe. Like when my biological mother lied about what my father did and didn't do, and I had to go and say, no, this person is safe and never hurt me, but that person actually is the one who hurt me. And I'm going to pop in because I wanted to make another point about the court system and a lying parent. And I am going to be walking. I'm taking the recycling out. So I'm walking over here. So my biological mother had done a lot of abusive stuff to me and my sister. And then she also had exposed us to a lot of dangerous men. So my biological mother, she lied to me about who my father was literally from birth. He knew he was my dad. She knew he was my dad. His name was on my birth certificate. But she started lying, saying that another man was my dad, and she was lying to that man, saying that he was my dad too. So she was getting child support from 2 separate men. And when we did go to court, when I was 4 years old, almost 5, they proved in court that the man that she was lying that was not my father was not my father. We did a paternity test, and that the man who was on my birth certificate is my father. Another little sad note about that fact, that sad fact, is that while that fake dad disappeared when I was just about 5, I never knew why he disappeared. And I didn't find out that there had been a paternity test done until I was 45 years old. Just saying. And so I got abused by the man that she lied was my father. And how she handled that was to turn around and say it was my real dad who was the one abusing me, not that guy. And not her. They were physically abusing us, and she was letting me get extrally abused. And my biological father never laid a finger on me. He never hit me. He never physically abused me. He never abused me in any other way, except, well, he kind of psychologically abused me, but that's because he had problems. But that came later. Okay, but the physical and sexual abuse and emotional and psychological, my biological mother, and everything she did and exposed us to. But yet she literally went to the school and the court and said it was my dad. So when it comes to somebody lying and twisting and pointing fingers at someone else to cover up their own shit, I know what that's like. I lived through it. So it's not far-flung for me to believe that Karen Read would be pointing fingers at every single person in that house, in that bar, in that fucking town to get the blame off of her. But it's starting to add up and stack up in my mind. It was Karen. Then we got abused. I got abused. And then what my biological mother did then was she went to the court and she went to the school. And she lied. And she told them that my father was the one who had hurt us. that he was the one who put his hands on us in all the inappropriate ways, that he never did. And then when we told the courts, no, that's not true, she's the one that abused us, my biological mother said, he coached them. He told them what to say. They're lying. They've been coached. And so maybe that's part of why I take it so hard and I get so offended to hear people saying, protect the kids, keep them out of court. Because you know what? What protected me was going to court. What protected me was being able to say, no, I'm not being coached by my father to say that he did this and that. My biological mother is lying and trying to get me to say stuff. Okay, so when you've got a situation like that, where one side is saying that the other side is being coached, and, you know, so back in the 70s when I went through what I went through, mothers were almost always granted custody without question. And fathers were given weekends or something like that. And my biological mother completely lost custody. She was originally granted supervised visitation rights only. And then that only worked for a couple weeks because she stopped showing up. Okay, and then she decided to drop out for a couple years, and then a few years later she was like, oh yeah, let me go fuck with those kids again. And then a few years would pass, and then, you know, oh yeah, let me fuck with those kids again. And then by the time she decided, oh, let me fuck with those kids again, by that time I was an adult. The point that I'm saying is that there are fucked up people out there who do fucked up shit, and then they will turn around and blame somebody else to cover up the fact that they did it. And they will lie, they will go to court, they will bring up fucking evidence if they can make it, fake evidence. They'll get their friends to lie if they can, and they'll lie on anyone and anybody who is telling the truth on them. So when I was going into this trial, I didn't think about any of that stuff. I wasn't being biased. I wasn't looking at it like, you're just like my biological mother. Because again, it's not the same. My biological mother didn't hit my biological father with a car. It's not like that. But she lied on him. She lied on other people. She tried to claim that we were being brainwashed and coached. And she was the one trying to brainwash and coach us. So I'm just adding this because I'm just so sick and tired. It's like, and again, with those text messages with Brian Higgins, it's like, how fucking sexist can you be? Sexist against a man? Because how the fuck can somebody read those text messages and not know? The red flag was Karen. The perpetrator was Karen. The problem was Karen. The pursuer was Karen. The one who was trying to cheat was Karen. The one who was trying to lie and go behind people's backs was Karen. The one who wouldn't take no for an answer was Karen. The one who was lying about what had happened in Aruba was Karen. The one who was lying about John and saying he was a fucking cheater was Karen. The one who was saying, I never wanted kids anyway, I shouldn't have to be dealing with fucking kids, was Karen. The one who said that John's family ought to be stepping in and doing more for the kids that he adopted was Karen. The one who had the motive for John to not go into that party was Karen. Karen was the one who didn't want John to find out that she was trying to cheat on his friend. Cheat on him with his friend. Karen was the one who said all that nasty shit about her boyfriend's kids. How do you think John would have felt if Brian said, hey dude, you're a good guy and I like you. And you're an honorable person. You're doing the right thing. You're raising these children. And I just want you to know, Karen isn't a good person. Karen's been trying to cheat on you. Karen was begging me to come to her house. Karen kissed me in the garage at your house when she walked me out. Karen's been saying mean things about your kids. Karen, the one who supposedly John was arguing about her spending too much money on the children and spoiling them, Karen is complaining that she doesn't like the kids, they're spoiled. That's Karen. So the people over here who want to say, Brian was going after her so much that he killed John because of her. It's like, you're the problem. You're the red flag. You are the one who's probably out here twisting and looking at things from a really fucked up perspective, in my opinion, because anyone who could read those text messages and not see that Karen was the red flag on fire, you're a creep. There's something wrong with your comprehension, or you're sexist, something, because that's just so off. It's so off-putting. I'm so taken aback by that. Just like, I'm just hoping that those jurors are not as crazy as a lot of these commenters online. And hopefully the jurors are not being biased by Turtle Boy and all that crap online. And to say that a court shouldn't be allowed to bring a child forward to say something is absolutely asinine. You're an idiot. You are cruel. You are the person who the child needs to be protected from, because anybody who would deny a child the right to say what they need to say just because it's painful, you don't know anything about how healing works, because not speaking and not saying your piece is not how you heal. And the court did the right thing by not streaming any video or audio and letting whoever's in court. Do I want to know what they said? Do I wish I could have seen and heard their voices and their facial expressions and their body language and literally listen to it all? Of course I do, but I am so happy to let them have their privacy as long as they got to say their piece. So anybody who thinks otherwise, you are the problem in my mind, because no child should be silenced from having the right to speak. And even if it's a situation where, like in this case, their parent was murdered, how dare you say that they don't have a right to speak? How dare you try to silence a child and keep them from the justice system? That is outrageous to me. Like that really makes me angry, because these self-righteous indignation people, the venom that you spew for somebody letting a child speak the truth, it's appalling to me. It's truly appalling. And what? Because you believe that 30 people coached a child to frame an innocent woman? Did you not see those texts? There's something about the mindset of a person who you've already made up your mind before the evidence came in, or you decided that all the salacious gossip and all the twisted plot lines, and you've already decided guilty or innocent before the trial already happened. So before the trial happened, I was like, well, I'm like, 49-51. I'll say she's guilty 51-49, but I don't really know anything about it, and I'd like to find out about it like a juror, without reading all the bunch of stuff online, without doing my own investigative journalism or whatever, to just watch the trial. And all the videos that I've been putting out ever since it started is my thoughts about what was presented in trial and the evidence that's come forward or not come forward. And for the first 18 days, I was like, they got nothing. They got nothing but more time and more evidence because more witnesses to present. Because at this point, I'm like, nothing. Then that day, I think it was day 17. Day 17, and those text messages came out, and that was a game changer for me. That was a lot of Karen's personality, her mindset, her actual behavior, her plans, the way that she was navigating things, the way she felt about her relationship with John and the children, the way that she was desperately throwing herself at a man who knew that she was actively pretty much living with her boyfriend and the children that he was raising, his children. What kind of person is that? Not a good person. And does a cheating, lying, backstabbing hoe make you a murderer? No, we already covered this in the other video. Because there's tons of you fucking lying, scheming hoes out there. And you're not murderers. You're just not nice people. Okay? And you could be a not nice person and not be a murderer. But what I find the most diabolical of all is the fact that most likely this bitch hit him with her car and then went to the lengths that she did to literally frame it on everybody in his life but her. And she was the only one who had a reason for him not to go into the party. She was the one who had a reason for him not to go into that party, because then she would be found out. And if not only would John have found out, yo, she's been trying to cheat on me with my own fucking friend, all the friend group would have found out. She would have been ousted. She would have lost her relationship with John, which despite all her complaints about the children, you know, I don't think that she like put two and two together. I don't think she realized, obviously she didn't realize, because why the fuck would you be like, I do not want children, and dating a man who has children? That just makes no fucking sense. Just like a man who doesn't want children and he's dating a single mother. Why are you dating somebody who is a parent if you do not want children? That is your fault. And it's also extra your fault, because if you're not being honest with the person that you're dating, you are completely deceiving them about who you are and what you want in life and what your relationship even is. Okay, so here you have a woman who admittedly did not want children. She was resentful that she was having to raise these children and they weren't going anywhere. So what the fuck was she like? So instead of leaving him like she should have and just like be like, I don't want kids, so we're going to break up and I'm going to go. Maybe she could have pursued Brian Higgins after the fact, but I really don't think she was really after him because she wanted him. I think she just wanted to fuck him as some kind of evil revenge because John hugged Marietta Sullivan. So she's like, I'm out of this fucking relationship anyway, but I'm going to fucking prove to myself that I can get another guy. I could get fucking laid if I wanted to. I know that he likes me. You know when a guy has a crush on you. You know when a guy thinks you're hot. Most of the time. Unless he's a completely, you know, introverted, shy person or super avoidant and like literally never gave you a hint. I mean, there are those people, but the average guy, you're going to know. Doesn't mean he wants to necessarily fuck you or have a relationship with you, but you can tell when somebody generally thinks that you're attractive. Okay, so she probably already knew that. And she probably thought, it seems obvious, she thought that she was going to snap her finger and he was going to jump and he was, boop, they were going to fuck. And then she, you know, I don't know what her end game goal was. Like he said, what's your end game here? Because like, I mean, the fact that she was literally saying to him, you should stay over at John's house. Like John was asleep and the kids were asleep and she wanted Brian to stay. Like how creepy is that? Was she going to actually fuck Brian in John's house while John and the niece and nephew are asleep? Because that's what it sounded like. Like what the fuck? That's weird. That is creepy. Okay. So I do think that those medical witnesses were kind of weird, but again, like Alita pointed out, Alita Legal Bites, a lot of these highly specialized fields, people who are not very personable, that's what they want to do. And, you know, so sometimes a witness is an expert witness and they're really an expert in their field and they're very good at speaking. Like there was that one last witness guy and he was like really clear and easy to understand. But there was a couple of other witnesses, they were just like, do I really have to speak to a human being? And it showed, you know, and it didn't seem like they were lying or being evasive. It just seemed like they were just not very personable. So even though I'm leaning more towards Karen is guilty than innocent at this point, the defense still has not put their case in chief on. And they have all their shit to show. All their evidence, all their witnesses, and all that jazz. And then the rebuttal. So we still have a ways to go, I'm imagining. I mean, who pointed it out? I think, again, I don't know if it was Alita or Emily D. Baker. Like the fact that there have been like 40 some witnesses and this is like a second-degree murder. It's crazy. And we're not even done. But so anyway, those are my thoughts and my rants and my slants and the thin line between true love and true crime. Although in this case, there was not true love here. This was true fucked up bitch. You need to break up with him. Why do people choose to do stupid, violent things when you could just move on? Going to jail for multiple years or possibly forever is not better than breaking up. You know, it's like with Wendy Adelson. You hated Tallahassee. Hey, that bitch is still getting away with it. Every single day that bitch is getting away with murder and she's walking free. Is she moving to Texas? Is that so she can be closer to the border so she could do a whoop? I'm out of here. Are they going to lasso her back in? Are they going to catch her? Are they going to arrest her? I don't know. I have another video I'm still working on. I've been putting it on hold because Karen Read is popping off. But maybe this is the perfect time now that, so today is Wednesday. So we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 more days until trial begins. And I do have work for clients to do. I'm actually so happy. I'm so happy. I had that client and she popped off, but then this other client popped on and he so far is so cool. I really like him. And my video for him just saved. I hope that he feels the same and I hope he's going to enjoy the work that I've done for him today. I'm about to send it to him off. So anyway, I will see y'all later. See you in the next one. And I'm willing to put this video out there knowing that it seems like it's an unpopular trend to say, I think Karen Read might be guilty. And I don't believe the defense's theory at all. I do not believe that Brian killed John O'Keefe. I do not believe that Colin Albert and Matt McCabe killed John. I do not believe that Brian Albert Jr. and Sarah Levinson and Juliana Nagel killed him or covered it up or lied about it. I do not believe that the EMTs and the other medical personnel lied about what Karen said and that they somehow all spontaneously colluded and then after the fact were like all willing to line up their stories and lie and that the kids were coached and like, are you kidding me? Those 2 children are, other than John's brother and sister-in-law and his parents, there is nobody in the world besides his niece and nephew, daughter, son, who have more of a personal need for justice for John O'Keefe. And the person who actually murdered him is the person that they want justice for. Okay, so if the people who are closest to John, like, I'm going to go with what they believe. I'm going to follow the instincts of the kids who lived with Karen, the brother who loved John, the people who were the closest to the situation, John's friends who knew him all his life, or for most of his adult life. Those are the people who I'm going to trust them. I'm not going to trust an off-the-wall defense attorney who's also defended some rather... Now, I know that who you defend doesn't necessarily mean that you're a fucking scum, but at the same time, you're like, Go look at who Alan Jackson has defended. Well, let me just look it up for you. Who has Alan Jackson defended? Defense attorney Alan Jackson.
According to the Boston Globe, Jackson represented Hollywood star Kevin Spacey when he was prosecuted by then Cape and Islands District Attorney Michael O'Keefe's office for allegedly groping a teenager at a Nantucket bar in 2016.
Another O'Keefe. Bizarre. Unrelated, though. So he represented Kevin Spacey. He represented some prince, Saudi Arabian prince, some NBA guy. So... some guy who allegedly stabbed his brother to death. I don't know if that was the prince. I don't know. So, you know, he's a defense attorney. So he defends people who've been accused of doing crimes. Kevin Spacey's pretty goddamn creepy. So again, it doesn't mean that he's a bad attorney. It doesn't mean that he's a terrible person. It just means he's defending people accused of doing crimes, but, I don't know. Yeah. Well, everybody deserves a good defense. I think he is a good defense attorney, but whether or not he's going to get her off, we'll see. Yeah. So do I think that somebody like that is going to have tactics that might be shady, dirty, twisted, scandalous, salacious, and also just not true? Smoke and mirrors, distractions, and everybody else in the whole motherfucking world, all y'all motherfucker, I need 10 fingers and 10 toes to point at all y'all who did it, because it wasn't me. It wasn't sweet old little Karen, the cheating, conniving, raging bitch. No, it wasn't her. It was all these nice people. Because, like, all those people seem nice to me, honestly. Even Jen McCabe, people wanted to insult her. People want to be like, she's so unlikable. Why is she so unlikable? Because she doesn't appreciate Alan Jackson trying to accuse her of colluding to cover up a murder? I wouldn't appreciate it either. Now, maybe I would have a better idea of how I should be a witness, because I've heard quite a few lawyers talk about how a witness should and shouldn't respond, and what things make a witness sound like they're lying, even when they might not be. And they might just literally be like, you know what? I could answer you yes or no and make your life easy, but I'm not gonna, because fuck you. Because fuck you. And I think that that's a lot of what's going on, that all of those witnesses, like they were saying, oh, they got defense, cross-examination amnesia. But I also think it's kind of like, fuck you, defense. I'm not going to make your life easy. I'm going to parse every single thing you say. I'm going to pinch. I am going to sphincter. I am not going to make this easy for you, because you're lying, and every single thing you say is a trap. Could be. Now, could all of this come crashing down and I realize, oh my God, they did cover it all up. Poor little Karen is so innocent. And somehow all of these people wanted John dead and they wanted to frame her for whatever reason. We'll never know. Or maybe we will know. Maybe we'll find that out next week. Anyway, those are my thoughts for now. And I said in the beginning of the video, I am trying to grow my sweet little channel. And if you enjoy my videos, if you're still here, please don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification. And I don't know, this might be the only video until Monday or after that, because I don't know what else I would have to say. Oh yeah, unless I actually, that's right, I was saying, if you're looking forward to another Wendy Adelson video, then let me know in the comments, please, because it is a big chunk-a-dunk-a video and I'm working on it. So if you're looking forward to that and you would like to see it, then let me know and then I'll get to it sooner than later. Okay? So show some interest and love for Wendy Adelson Arrest Watch. And, you know, the video is more transcribing and analyzing of her police interview. So with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.